Hey Internet, what's up? Austin Smith here, and this is a Sanrenmu folding knife. This particular model is the 7010. It is identical to the 710, if I remember that number correctly, except this one has this particular little pattern engraved in the side here, while the 710, which comes in both black and silver, has a little design here with some sort of flame pattern that I don't particularly like. Now, I'm going to set that to the side first and bring in the packaging, which, as far as I can tell, most Sanrenmu knives of about this size come in this packaging. Especially indicative of that is the sticker. That just tells you the number and everything else is identical. I have another Sanrenmu knife that comes in this. The knife fits down in there and this slides off so that you can get at it. No staples or anything, which is alright. This knife is made from a special type of stainless steel. No, it isn't. That will ensure long life for the blade, sharpness and hardening, blah 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 blah. Quality guarantee. We'll replace it 3 months after purchase. That's not particularly useful considering it comes from China. I like the how to use because it's completely ridiculous. And for adults only, probably not. But, you know, it's probably a good idea to put that warning on there. So, this knife is, let me get my reach, I put it just, unfortunately, out of my reach, is about, I have a tripod, so that's hard to, it's about 3.5, 3 3/4 inches long. Put that in the closed position. It's got a pocket clip that is fairly deep carry, although not as deep as I particularly like, but it's pretty much as deep as this particular knife could get without having it on the side, which is good. It's held in there by 3 Torx screws, so it is removable, but you can't put it anywhere else because there's no place for it. Down at the bottom here we have a lanyard hole, which is interesting because it's the opposite. It would be nice to have a lanyard hole up here, but I understand that you probably couldn't do that. Anyway, you can see the bit of a frame lock there. Everything's held together with Torx screws that are just smaller than the standard Torx set, so you would need to buy specialty screws to open it, or specialty driver bits to open it. The pocket clip is nice. It holds well. In fact, as you can see, I'm having trouble bending it out right there. Alrighty. The blade flicks open very well, partially because, if you can see, the frame lock definitely does a pretty good job of keeping it up there and tight, which means that if you throw the knife, the blade probably won't open. If you do drop it, it will open, which I have found out, and fortunately, doesn't scar that bad. Most of these, there's some little tiny scratches in there. I don't know if you can see them. Most of those were from actual just pocket carry. Knife flicks open very easily with a little bit of practice. I'm not used to flicking open my knives, so it did take a little bit of practice. But essentially, once you get it past that, it's much harder to open and not have it flick open than it is to flick it open, which is good. I like that. The blade shape is a sort of a, I would say it's a clip point, but it's kind of drop pointish as well. It's a fairly classic, fairly simple blade shape. It's a lot like a Sebenza, as a lot of people have pointed out. I can't verify that except from pictures because I've never touched a Sebenza. So, but it does look quite a bit like a Sebenza. It's a bit shorter, if I am recalling the reviews online correctly. The blade is about 3 inches, little less than 3 inches. The cutting edge is about 3 3/4 inches. The blade itself is about 3 inches. So, a pretty decent blade length, especially for a knife that that's a everyday carry knife or something in that vein. It's fairly heavy and fairly sturdy. From everything I've done to it, I've used it for about a month now. I also have not sharpened it. I can verify that this blade could cut paper right out of the package. I mainly use it to open boxes and packages, so it wears down the blade a bit and it needs to be sharpened. But it could cut paper right out of the box, which was nice. So edge retention is bad. that is one knock for this knife, but it's really sturdy. It holds up really well. The scratches and everything are just minor cosmetic damage. This does not provide any grip whatsoever, but it is still fairly grippy, and I can just barely get my pinky on it, so it's really comfortable to hold for me. It might be just a bit small for someone like, say, my father, who could not get his pinky on it, and it was not, as such, it was not that good for him. Alright, well, overall, for the price of this knife, it is a very good knife, a very good everyday carry beater type knife, which is not that expensive. It won't cost you too much if you lose it or if it breaks, which I don't think it will. It seems this tip is very, very hard and sturdy. That's just my fingers, obviously. I probably couldn't break most steels or even bend them with my fingers, but you know, I have pried into a few things with it, and it has held up well. Everything on it is very thick, just slabs of steel, and it's surprisingly thin for being just a couple slabs of steel together. It is about ½ an inch, or a ¼ an inch, sorry. So, it is surprisingly thin. It almost disappears in my pockets, but if you're wearing some tighter pants or maybe some slacks it'll kind of drag down, and some tight pants it might bulge out. But it's a pretty good all-around knife. Not a great knife by any means, but it gets the job done. Bye.